Hi everyone, it's Kasia from Tarot Map, and this is a video that I prepared for the series that it's called 28 Days of the Moon, and it was created by Maha from Maha's Treasure Box and Amber. I will link the list of the beautiful ladies and channels that are taking part in this series below. Please take a look at all the videos. And this is my video about the moon archetype in astrology and moon archetype in tarot. Because I have done a lot of videos on moon in tarot, I'm going to link them below. You can take a look at them on my channel. This time I thought I'm going to focus mostly on just giving us an experience of what your moon, your particular moon in astrology can mean. And I'm going to be providing this information from Caroline Casey's book, Making the Gods Work for You. Before we move into this though, moon is ruled by the sign of Cancer. It's a water sign and it's a cardinal water sign. Cardinal meaning that it's an energy that likes to start things, and you can see all these crustaceans on the traditional moon card really wanting to do the journey, coming out from the subconscious or unconscious waters, the emotional waters. And despite the fearful outside, the really scary kind of strange looking outside, you know, they're going from the safety of the womb of the water and moving forward in between the howling dogs or wolves, in between the towers, going through this journey that, yes, it's marked in front of them, but it seems dangerous. So moon is always a mysterious card. It's a card of depth, it's a card of the night, it's card of Hecate, it's card of a great goddess, it's card that leads you to other worlds. It can be card of sexual magic, it can be card of femininity. It is the great imaginer. And the moon in astrology, as I said, is ruled by Cancer. It also rules the 4th house of family, of our spiritual lineage. And it really can be honored by listening to our needs. And moon rules Monday, so every Monday, if you don't follow the moon cycles, you can specifically remember the moon, and you can remember to follow and embrace and honor and listen to your needs. Moon rules often our food and how we nurture ourselves. How we are able I'm sorry, the strawberry is so good. How we are able to nurture and support ourselves and feed ourselves, or, you know, make ourselves feel loved, make ourselves feel like we belong, make ourselves feel empowered. Moon is also magical, and in Greek culture or mythology, it's also not often associated with 3 faces of the goddess as well, with the maiden, mother and the crone, often associated with Hecate, with dark goddesses, with mother archetype, with confusion, with darkness, with uncertainty, with, you know, ebbs and flows of emotions. There is the emotionality of the moon always also is connected somehow to the feminine side of our nature, whereas the sun is connected often to our yang, more active side. So the drive of the moon is really to give and to receive nurturing and to have a sense of belonging. The house of the moon, so where your moon is in your astrological chart in the time of your birth, indicates the area of life that you will look to for nourishment, and where you will express yourself emotionally, when you will strive to belong. It is a house also where you might check your connection and relationship to your mom. And the moon in fire signs will tend to throw out emotions in a dramatic, explosive way. They're idealistic, they need recognition. Earth signs will need material security, physical comfort, and to be useful in order to feel nourished. And when you have the moon in an air sign, you often can be out of touch with your feelings, but you will need to communicate, you will need to talk about your emotions, and you need to be understood by others to feel safe and secure. And the moon in water signs needs to feel connected to others through relationships. So the moon also in astrological chart, as much as in tarot, can point to the area that can be wounded, constructed, or there can be some mystery going on in that place. And moon is a very mysterious card. It's interesting to me that it's always shown in tarot. If you look at traditional understanding of the moon, if you look at traditional kind of divinatory meaning of the moon, it's usually confusion, it's usually really negative, it's usually shown as something that is like you don't know where you're going, you don't understand anything, everything is really scary, it rules anxiety and fear and all those negative emotions. But when you think of how deeply the sacred feminine aspects of our culture got repressed, that's also, I feel like, what's happening to the moon. Moon reflects the sun, but sun wouldn't exist at night without the moon. And it's just this beautiful dance between moon and the sun. And actually I wanted to, maybe I will provide and make another video at some point, I wanted to show the moon in conjunction with the sun, meaning as a contrast to the sun. But later on I decided that I'm just going to go with giving you this short presentation of moon in every sign and what that means and how you can maybe relate to it, because moon tells us a story of our spiritual lineage as well, of our ancestry, of our biological karma, but even deeper than biological. It's mother of our mother. It's really ancestral. It's our spiritual lineage, and it suggests that we have deep inside this memory of ancient spiritual tradition as well. So it's a very mysterious, it's a very cyclical, emotional, deeply embedded into the body card and planet in quotation mark in astrology as well. So each sign describes an aspect of the moon in her myriad of expressions. And all of the expressions are available to us because moon moves through this chart. And as you know, moon moves in cycles and moon moves through all the signs. So we can experience moon in every sign. But if you personally have moon in Aries, the moon in Aries says, I belong to an ancient tradition that reaches back into the past when people really understood the interrelatedness of all life. They were the lunar priestesses and priests, custodians of the energy of dynamic leadership. They possessed qualities of the Amazonian, autonomous hunter-gatherers. If you have the moon in Taurus, in an earth sign, it says, I belong to the ancient tradition of those who were stewards for all of life. I possess the agrarian magic used to cultivate plants and protect the resources and wealth of the community. My affinity for the sensate world guides me to the task of making beautiful tools and implements of daily life in order to constantly remind the community of its home in the cosmos. When you have the moon in Gemini, it says, I belong to the tradition of those who gave voice to the understanding of interrelatedness. Traditionally, my task was to maintain in a garrulous intimacy with the mundane, as I perceive everything to be animated and speak to everything in its own language. I was the first bard, storyteller, or singer to offer the human voice as a means of expression for others. And often we know that in tarot, the moon can symbolize the storyteller. It can symbolize someone who has deep connection to the archetypal reality, to being able to see, connect to the dream of the world of dreams, the worlds of imaginary, characters and situations. It's just one of those mystical cards that we have. When you have moon in Cancer, it says, my tradition is completely devoted to protecting all growing things, babies and the young offspring of all creatures. We founded all of the arts of domesticity, especially the culinary arts, and considered the home to be sacred. So Cancers will love their places. They would feel safe in the coziness of their own homes. The moon in Leo, if you have a moon in a fire sign in Leo, it says, my tradition enlivens the community through dramatic, ritualistic celebration that brings the culture's mythology to life and revitalizes its connection to the cosmos. I preside over all expressive performing arts, dance, theater, and circus. If you have the moon in Virgo, that moon says, my tradition encompasses all diagnostic and healing arts. I know all the herbs and medicinal plants in the forest. My moon is called the witch's moon, referring to my practice of ritual magic. I create altars that serve as microcosm for the larger macrocosm to which I am in service. The moon in Libra, if you have the moon in Libra, I have the moon in Libra. It says, my tradition not only understands the interrelatedness of all things, but also plays an active role in consciously introducing disparate elements to each other. Thus, I create new art forms and constantly seek to forge new alliances with other peoples, traditions, and forces. I gave birth to the arts of diplomacy and mediation between people and species. We are the artists of the community who seek to make everything more harmonious and beautiful. If you have the moon in Scorpio, moon in Scorpio says, my tradition is responsible for mediating between the visible and invisible worlds. I speak to and for the invisible force field around all things, and I am a voice for the ancestors. I am comfortable with death as with birth. There's this Anubis guarding the gates to the underworld. My task is to be a cultural midwife, helping others with the transitions of death, birth, and anything symbolic in between. I study and teach the ceremonies and music which facilitate change. If you have the moon in Sagittarius, the moon says, my tradition constantly seeks to expand the perimeters of knowledge. Through travel and study, I enrich my community's wealth of knowledge. I found the schools, the libraries, the centers of philosophy and research. I am the keeper of the community's stories, laws, codes, and principles. My tradition intended the legal system to be the wise application of cosmic law in the pragmatic realm of daily life. If you had the moon in Capricorn, it would say, my tradition can downsize your tradition. We are the administrators who manage and run the community according to a larger principle. We admire, study, and implement the efficiency of nature. We are ambitious and pragmatic. We store grain. We set up commerce and trade. We plan and build empires. We know that gurus stop evolving when surrounded by sycophants rather than by colleagues who give them a playful hard time. And if you have the moon in Aquarius, it would say, I belong to a tradition that uses advanced telepathic techniques and technologies to constellate community. We relate to everything as a friend. There is no one and nothing we cannot talk to, and no one and nothing we can't organize into a creative, cooperative endeavor. We build teams and community projects. We like diversity, knowing that when everyone is the same, there's no electricity. Contrast provides the spark. And this is interesting because that's what I wanted to do, have the contrast of the moon and the sun, because it truly provides the spark. So if you had the moon in Aquarius, contrast provides the spark. And the moon in Pisces, another water sign, the mystic of the zodiac, right, says, I belong to an ancient tradition that understands that dreams and poetry are what keep a community healthy. We are the mystic, oracular custodians of our culture's myths and dreams. We keep the community's history alive through the oral tradition of poetry. We build altars and temples and mentor the imaginations of children. So the moon can navigate us, but it doesn't navigate us in the clarity of light like the sun does. The moon navigates us through intuition, through dreams, through mystery, through the worlds that we not so maybe familiar with, or that it's not so easy to move around. It's darker, it's narrower, but at the same time, when you think about it, it's really, you can really see so much more at night. In the daylight, yes, you see what's happening around you, but when you look at the sky, you just see the blue skies. When the night hits and the moon comes to the surface, you can see the galaxies, the stars, you can see the other world, the other universe. And that's what the moon provides, the depth, not only to your emotional self, but also the depth to the universe as a gateway, a portal between two worlds. And it's easy to imagine when you look up into the sky and see this hidden world at night. And as above, so below, there is a macrocosm and microcosm within ourselves. So there's this depth to ourselves that maybe is not seen or not so easily approachable or understood, but it's there. Just like the starry nights and galaxies are visible on the night sky, but not during the day. So with the moon, and to work with moon archetype, I would really go ritualistic. I would try to create a tool. You can create an ancestral tool, you can create a moon tool, you can like assign one crystal or whatever, a crystal skull or a stone that you found or a seed to be your moonstone. You can anoint it every new or every full moon, whatever you resonate with more. You can have certain representation for a project that you're putting out on the new moon. Learn about moon phases. I'm sure in our series that I'm part of, created by Maha and Amber, and a lot of us participate in this beautiful cooperation. If you can watch all the other videos also, you get a sense of how women work with the moon and how you can make moon work for you or show you the mysterious world that it represents. So I'm really hoping that you will be open to exploring it further. I hope it was fun to finding out your spiritual lineage through your moon sign. If you do not know your moon sign, you can go to astro.com. I will link this website below in my description box. Yeah, and I hope you enjoyed it. I wish you all the best. I hope you will watch all the other videos. It's 21st of June 2020, and we're actually in the new moon in Cancer, on 0 degrees Cancer. That's a very special new moon. Not only is this new moon like a new emotional kind of beginning of belonging, maybe like a togetherness as a family that we can hopefully start on Earth, but also it is a summer solstice. So in Northern Hemisphere, and winter solstice in the Southern Hemisphere. And also we have a solar eclipse on that day. So it's 2020, we're not surprised anymore with this intensity of celestial happenings. That's how it is this year. If something is happening, then it's like double whammy or triple whammy. So I hope you're having a wonderful time. I'm spending this day, I'm actually pre-recording this because on 21st of June there is my wedding anniversary, and I went away with my husband, our first trip here within our country, of course, but we went away, we rented a little place, and we just went to celebrate our anniversary for a few days. So I'm sending you all a lot of love, and I hope the moon will shine bright for you. And if you want to start something, if you want to mature emotionally, take care of yourself, nurture yourself with good food and with good drink, today is a perfect day to do it. So thank you, Maha, for inviting me, and thank you, Amber, for inviting me, and thanks to all the other ladies who are participating, and I hope you will enjoy this. Much love. Bye.